So I went and bought a Gladiator Jeep, 2020, and I wanted to put a subwoofer in it, and I've done a little bit of research and found that pretty much nothing will fit in this thing without basically removing the back seat. So if you look in the traditional spots where you can put a subwoofer, which would be under the front seat or under the back seat, you'll see that there's almost no room. I mean, even in my Dodge Ram, there was enough room to put a subwoofer box. This one literally gives you no room at all. Or where I'd really like to stick it is back behind here, but as you can see, there's not much room to put much of anything back there. So what I found was there's almost no room back there, so it took me a little bit of looking on the internet. I found several items that probably could fit back there. It's basically all-in-one subwoofers, smaller than 3 inches deep. And I settled on one, which is the Rockville. It's the Rockville 800W peak power. It's the RW10CA. And this one, the dimensions, let me find it here, the dimensions are 12.4 by 13.4 by 2.7, and that's 2.7 inches deep. So there's almost nothing to this subwoofer as far as the depth of it. But the box is very heavy, and I'll show you all this real quick. So we'll open it up. As you can see, it's a 10-inch subwoofer. I will put the link in the description so you can have access to it if you decide that it's something you would like for your Gladiator. It's very solid. Feels solid, doesn't feel cheap or flimsy. Here we go. We got a, there's where your power goes, fuse, RCAs, you got your high input. I went ahead and purchased a converter. I'm going to be doing low input from the dash. I didn't want to change the head unit out. And then you got your sub-level remote control. Looks like all that's kind of right here. Brackets, and then you got your gains, your auto turn on, etc. And looks like a pretty solid unit. The reviews on it were pretty good that I had seen, as far as in other cars. Hadn't seen it installed in the Gladiator yet, but let me take you to the Gladiator and we'll see if this thing actually fits in the back. Alright, so I'm just going to put it back here just to see if it fit in there. It's got room for the latch. We'll have our power setting, or our power and everything supplied over here, or possibly over here, depending where the battery's at and all that. And let me make sure it all buckles up. So I think that's a good spot for it, and I'm gonna get this all installed tomorrow, and I will show you how it sounds in the Jeep. Also, I installed the volume control for the remote for the amp right under the seat, under the driver's seat, so I can control it right as I'm driving if there's too much bass or not enough. So here's what it looks like installed. It sounds great. I've never been a fan of playing the finished product on YouTube or on the video because it never does the system justice. I mean, it's a small mic. You're not going to pick up how much bass this thing can actually put out, but it puts out an enormous amount of bass. But make sure you buy an active, powered, high to low output converter. If you don't, which is what I started doing when I first put it in, you're not going to see the results that you're going to want because you can't tune it separately from the radio. So make sure you purchase that. Once we installed that, it lit the thing up. Actually, the people that helped me install it were completely surprised at the difference it made. So for like $15 you can get one, and that is something else I'll put in the description where to buy that piece. But I will tell you, the key to this whole thing is to use the LOC from the head unit. If you're getting an aftermarket deck, it doesn't matter. But if you're using the factory deck, which I wanted to, I didn't want to lose any functionality. Having a high input to low output converter that's powered is the key. You can't just get a passive one, you need to get an active one. And I'll put the link for it also down in below. Thank you very much.